Learning Japanese through anime will ruin your Japanese forever. Or will it? So recently I got a comment on my TikTok account asking if learning Japanese through anime is bad. And it might be ironic for me answering this because I like to teach Japanese through anime, but here's my honest answer. It's bad. As in, it's never gonna make you fluent in Japanese. Like fluent to a point where you could have a natural conversation with a Japanese native or watching anime without subs. But can learning through Japanese be a useful tool on your training arc? And for that, I would say yes, in that it would be a super useful tool in these 3 steps I'm going to show you right now. First step is social context. This is really important when you learn any language, but especially Japanese, you have to know how or when to use a certain phrase or grammar. And I would say Japanese especially compared to other languages because you would literally have to change the way you talk. Mainly because in Japan, like Logan Paul said, it's all about the respect. But in all seriousness, what I mean by that is that Japanese literally has a grammar called keigo, which is used for showing respect and how to speak in a formal way. And tameguchi is like more of a slang, and if you talk to your friends or family or close family, that's what you use. But along with those actual grammar difference, like you will see when you're watching anime, is the protagonist talking to his friends or close nakama, or are they talking to their sensei that they respect or don't respect, or are they talking to the older people that they have to speak formally? The phrases they use or don't use will be distinctly different. So basically understanding which form you would have to use in a certain social context is something you will learn subconsciously, which is something that's really good or necessary in Japanese. I would say seeing the social context in action is way better than reading a textbook or writing it down and trying to understand it. Next is cultural context. Like most of you may have already known, Japanese culture and anime are very closely intertwined. Even anime in a Western setting or isekai, which is a completely different world, you would still see Japanese cultural phrases being used. For a quick example, you might know a phrase, itadakimasu, which is what you say before you eat. And after you eat, you would say gochisousama. Now, you probably know those because of the anime you watched. Those phrases are really hard to translate because itadakimasu is like, I'm grateful for this food, and gochisousama is, I am again grateful for this food that I just consumed, so after. But it's more of a cultural context phrase, and it doesn't really have a direct definition, so seeing it is way more easier to understand than just learning it. And other things like itterashai, tadaima, like when you leave or come home from the house, all those things are very important. Understanding Japanese culture through Naruto or even your name specifically would be very useful when you ever visit Japan. The third final reason or the step is actually pretty important when you're learning a language. Because honestly, learning Japanese is really hard. It can be grueling, there's going to be a struggle, and sometimes it could even be boring to a certain extent. So to remind yourself why you are learning what you are learning, watching Naruto or any other anime you like to binge watch, well, not binge watch, but watch one episode between your study breaks is super useful and could be a huge source of motivation. Now obviously, like I just said, it could backfire if you binge watch it, but with a little bit of discipline, it could be a very useful tool. Because if you want to be able to say those certain phrases or certain conversation that your favorite protagonist says, whoever it may be, hopefully not Yagami Raito. But anyways, for the ultimate goal of being able to watch anime without subs, a little bit of dose of motivation with anime is necessary. To be able to keep it going, it's important. So good luck with your journey and subscribe because I'll be posting every Wednesday and Sunday. Peace!